We're joined now by Congressman John Katko of New York, the top Republican on the House Homeland Security Committee. Thanks so much for joining us, Congressman.
Thanks for having me.
I want to first get your reaction to President Biden's announcement today of new sanctions aimed at Russia. Do you believe that these more aggressive sanctions can be a deterrent for Putin, or do you think that he'll have to move forward with his plans in Ukraine no matter what the West is doing?
I think that the sanctions are definitely a step in the right direction. We were promised swift and severe sanctions, and I just wonder whether these sanctions are indeed swift and severe. They seem to be limited to certain areas where Russia has gone into, but it doesn't seem to be the far-reaching sanctions that we were hoping for. And with someone like Putin, he's a bad actor. He only understands strength, and we need to project strength. It's a step in the right direction. We definitely need to see more from Biden as well as his Western allies.
What do you make of the timing of these sanctions? The White House has argued that they would have lost leverage on getting a diplomatic solution if they had imposed harsh sanctions sooner. But do you think that harsh sanctions weeks ago could have deterred this buildup and movement into Ukraine?
I certainly think it would have made Putin think twice. I don't think he really cares about the impact on his people. And I agree with others who have commented that he's concerned about his legacy at this point and maybe reigniting the fervor for a Russian empire. And that's a very dangerous road he's going down. And so the sooner we can nip this in the bud, the better. And the only way we can nip this in the bud is with an awesome amount of strength. This President Putin is acting like a man on an island, an islander, if you will. And we got to teach this islander that we are not going to just stand pat. And that's why we have troops in other countries. And that's why we got to project strength going forward.
How do you think that the Biden administration has handled the information war as far as calling out Putin's likely plans and actions before he can actually carry them out? Have you found that to be effective in trying to throw off Putin's playbook at all?
Listen, I applaud anything that the administration is doing to move the ball forward with sanctions and projecting strength. But I do think that it's a little bit late to start talking tough. But what we don't forget, in the last couple of days, they promised swift and severe sanctions. That's their words. And we just haven't seen that yet. I mean, we don't have the unified stance. We see different sanctions packages coming from the European Union than we do from the U.S. and from Germany. And, they're all steps in the right direction. But I'd like to see more unified front, because in the end, that unified front's going to be necessary to stop his aggression and his basically his imperialistic urges that he's showing right now. And it's a very troubling time. So for people back home who don't think that this is important for them in America, it's very important, because we don't want to go down a road where we're starting to really worry about whether or not we have to take military action to stop Russia's aggression into other countries as well.
And you focus a great deal on the threat of cyber attacks through your work on the Homeland Security Committee. We've reported here that Russia would likely use cyber attacks to destabilize Ukraine in any further invasion. But how likely is it that we could see those types of attacks from Russian actors directed at us here in this country?
I think it's highly likely. I mean, listen, in the last year, we've had major attacks from Russia and China. China's from the Chinese government itself, and Russia from state-sponsored actors within Russia, and we really haven't done enough to disincentivize them from doing that going forward. Cyber attacks are the new wave of aggression and actually war, and we already saw that with respect to Russia. Russia had major cyber attacks in the Kyiv, in the area around Ukraine, before they went in with troops. That's modern warfare. And so I do think that we will see more attacks from Russia. And it's incumbent upon the cybersecurity infrastructure security agency within Homeland Security, which we pour a lot of time and effort into, to work with the private sector to make our systems as secure as possible to beat back these attacks.
So if any cyber attacks on the U.S. were to happen, do you feel that they should be considered an act of war? And should the U.S. respond in kind with offensive cyber attacks on Russia? Or is there a danger of this all escalating too far?
Well, there's always that danger. But at what point do you say enough is enough? They shut down whole industries last year and caused catastrophic damage in a number of instances. And we didn't do enough to deter it. So we can't just have them running rampant with cyber attacks. So I think we got to find that balance. But if they're going to go after our critical infrastructure and we do nothing, I think that's really a mistake. Now, do we need to declare war? No. But I do think we need to let them know that we have cyber offensive capabilities, and I think we need to utilize them, not to try and get on a war footing, but to try and deter them from doing that again in the future. Look, when I was a prosecutor, the only thing bad guys understood was strength, and if we don't project strength, we're not going to get Putin to think twice, or the Russian people to think twice about what they're doing here.
Congressman Katko of New York, we thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.